Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive here on weightless productivity. Today we're tackling something I think we can all agree on. That feeling of complete email overload. Overflowing inboxes, the nagging feeling that you're always behind. Just that constant pressure to keep up.
Yeah, and it's interesting. A lot of solutions out there just jump right into tips and tricks without even really understanding the problem itself.
Right, like why is email such a beast to begin with?
Yeah, and that's what we're doing differently here. We're going to dissect this email beast before we even talk about taming it.
Okay, I like that. Kind of like our source material says, email is almost like a genetically engineered velociraptor designed to eat your time. So before we can fight it, we need to know its weaknesses.
Exactly. So to do that, we kind of need to go back in time a bit. Think about communication before email was the dominant force. Phone calls were for important things. No one expected an instant response.
You had to wait to hear back from people. It's wild.
Yeah, it was a completely different landscape. And then came email. At first it was manageable, even novel, but the volume just exploded. And with it came a whole set of issues.
Okay, so our source material breaks down 12 key characteristics of email that make it so problematic. So let's dive into these, shall we?
Let's do it.
All right, so first up, we're talking more incoming information than any communication tool before it.
It's like the central hub for everything these days. And then you add to that anyone can send to it. We give out our email addresses so freely. It's an open invitation for anyone to reach us, regardless of whether it's relevant or not.
Oh, it's so true. I'm still getting emails from that store I signed up for 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I can't even remember what they sell anymore.
And then came mobile devices, which means we're accessible 24/7. There are no social norms around email like there are with phone calls. You could be anywhere doing anything. And suddenly there's that notification, pulling you back into your inbox.
Yeah, it creates this illusion of productivity, right?
Right.
We feel like we're working because we're constantly responding to emails. But are we actually accomplishing anything meaningful?
Often no. And ironically, this constant email engagement can actually make more work for others. Think about those massive reply all chains where everyone feels compelled to chime in.
Yeah.
It creates this avalanche of information that everyone has to sift through. But here's the thing. Despite all the frustration and overload, we actually like email. It gives us that dopamine hit, that sense of importance and being needed.
It's true.
It's a constant battle, and that's partly because there are no real rules for email. You can try to set boundaries and guidelines, but there's always someone who breaks the mold. It's the wild west of communication.
Yeah, it's true. And that brings us to another point. Email can hinder real connection and collaboration. Sometimes it's so much more effective to just pick up the phone or have a face-to-face conversation.
Absolutely. And it's important to acknowledge that email can also rob us of valuable rest time. We should be using those breaks to recharge and disconnect, not constantly checking our inboxes.
It's like we're tethered to this digital leash, even when we're supposed to be relaxing.
Yeah, an email can embolden us to say things we wouldn't dare say in person. It's easier to be harsh or critical when you're hiding behind a screen.
It's like road rage, but for email. Digital tough guy syndrome, maybe? But here's the real catch-22. We can't just ignore email because sometimes it does contain crucial information. But that same sense of urgency can be triggered by the most trivial things.
Right, it's a double-edged sword. That notification could be anything, from a work crisis to a sale on something you don't even need.
Okay, so let me get this straight. We got this huge open box, accessible from anywhere, that we can't ignore, even though it often creates more work for ourselves and others. And despite all that, we kind of like it.
Yeah.
This email beast is complex.
It is. And when you combine all these factors, it's no wonder we feel overwhelmed. It's like trying to outrun a velociraptor.
So where do we even begin? I feel like I've tried every tip and trick out there and nothing seems to stick.
Yeah, you're not alone in feeling that way. A lot of the advice out there focuses on these superficial changes, like organizing your inbox or using different apps. But the real key to conquering email lies in shifting your mindset and behavior.
Okay, so less about the tools and more about the approach. I like that.
Exactly. And one of the most powerful concepts we're going to explore is surgical responsiveness. It's about being deliberate and strategic with your email interactions, rather than just reacting to every message that comes in.
Surgical responsiveness, huh? So are we talking about cutting out email entirely?
Not quite. It's more about prioritizing and focusing your energy where it matters most. Think of it this way. Not every email requires the same level of urgency or attention.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. Some emails need an immediate response, while others can wait.
Exactly. So the first step is to identify who falls into that immediate response category for you. It might be your boss, key clients, or anyone involved in a time-sensitive project.
Okay, so those are like the VIPs of my inbox. What about everyone else?
For everyone else, we aim for what our source material calls reliable responsiveness. It's similar to how FedEx operates. You set delivery windows and people know what to expect.
So instead of feeling like I need to respond to every email the second it arrives, I can set clear expectations about my response time.
Precisely. You might aim to respond to non-urgent emails within one business day, for example. This way you're still being responsive, but you're not letting email dictate your entire day. And it's not just about managing incoming email, it's also about being mindful of the messages we send.
Oh, that's a good reminder. I know I've definitely sent emails in the heat of the moment. That I later regretted.
We've all been there. Remember how we talked about email emboldening people to say things they wouldn't say in person? It's important to pause before hitting send and ask yourself, would I say this to this person's face?
Yeah, it's like the email version of think before you speak.
Precisely. And if you need to have a more nuanced conversation, pick up the phone or schedule a meeting. Email isn't always the best tool for complex communication.
So email is a tool, not a replacement for human interaction. Got it. So it's not just about managing email in isolation, but about integrating it into my larger system of productivity.
Precisely. If your goal is to write a book, for example, you wouldn't spend hours each day responding to emails about your latest social media post, right?
Definitely not. I'd be surgically removing those distractions and focusing on the tasks that directly contribute to my writing goals.
Exactly. It's about being intentional with your time and energy and making sure your actions align with your aspirations.
So before I even open my inbox, I need to ask myself, what do I really want to achieve today? What are the most important things I need to focus on?
Precisely. Once you have that clarity, you can start to shape your email habits in a way that supports those goals,
Right.
rather than hindering them.
Okay, this is all starting to click. It's not about becoming a slave to my inbox. It's about becoming the master of my email destiny.
Exactly. And with the right mindset and strategies, you can achieve that state of digital serenity we talked about earlier, that feeling of calm focus and control, even in the face of email overload.
Digital serenity. I love that.
Yeah.
It's definitely something I'm striving for. But let's be honest. There are going to be days when I feel like I'm losing the battle against the email velociraptor.
Of course, it's a journey, not a destination. There will be setbacks and challenges along the way. But the key is to keep learning, keep experimenting, and keep striving for that state of digital serenity.
So it's not about achieving perfection, but about making progress and celebrating those small wins along the way.
Absolutely. And remember, every email you send, every message you process, is an opportunity to practice these strategies and refine your approach.
It's like a micro workout for my email muscles. The more I use them, the stronger they get.
I love that analogy. And as you continue to practice, you'll find that you're not only becoming more efficient with email, but you're also becoming more intentional with your time and energy overall.
So it's not just about managing email. It's about managing my life and creating space for the things that truly matter.
Precisely. And that's the ultimate reward of email mastery, the freedom to focus on the people we love, the work that brings us joy, and the things that make life meaningful.
Wow, that's beautifully put. It's not about an empty inbox. It's about a full life. And it all starts with taking control of our digital habits.
Exactly. And I truly believe that everyone has the potential to achieve that. It starts with a decision, a commitment, to shape our digital lives in a way that aligns with our values and aspirations.
So it's a choice we make every day, every time we open our inbox.
Absolutely. And the more we practice these strategies, the easier it becomes to make those choices, to prioritize what matters and to let go of the rest. It's about creating a more mindful and intentional relationship with technology. You have the power to tame the email velociraptor and achieve digital serenity. I have no doubt about that.
This has been so inspiring. Before we wrap up, I have to ask, you mentioned that these strategies were developed by a Fortune 500 executive. Is that right?
It is. These aren't just theoretical concepts. They've been tested and proven to work in some of the most demanding work environments.
Wow, that's impressive. It gives me even more confidence that I can actually implement these strategies and make a real difference in my own life.
And remember, these principles are platform agnostic. Whether you're using Gmail, Outlook, or any other email provider, the strategies remain the same. It's all about changing your behavior, not the technology itself.
That's great to know. It's empowering to realize that I have the power to take control, regardless of what email system I'm using.
Exactly. And remember, you don't have to do this alone. We have tons of resources, tips, and support available on our website, waitlistproductivity.com. We're here to help you every step of the way.
That's fantastic. I'm already feeling more confident about tackling my inbox.
And if you need support along the way, we're here for you. Connect with us at Weightless Productivity. That's weightlessproductivity.com for more resources, tips, and a community of like-minded individuals who are on this journey with you.
That's wonderful. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, be sure to like, comment, and follow us on any platform. Share it with your friends and colleagues who are struggling with email overload. Let's spread the message of digital serenity far and wide.
And remember, all of this is original content, fortified with research, designed to help you achieve true productivity and well-being.
We believe in you. Go out there and conquer those inboxes.
Until next time, stay curious, stay focused, and stay weightless.
See you then.